I have a daughter named Eden who will be 3 this Christmas, so my daughter loves children's books. We've been reading lots and lots of children's books. One of my favorite is this book here. It's called You Are Special by Max Lucado. You Are Special is a book about a bunch of small wooden people named Weemics. These wooden people were all carved and made by Eli, who is a wood carver who lives at the top of the hill overseeing their town. All the Weemics are different. Some have big noses, some have small noses, some have large eyes, some have small eyes. Some wear coats, some wear hats, some are Packer fans, some are Cowboy fans. They're all different. And all the Weemics, they play the same game. They give each other stickers. They have a box of stars and a box of gray dots. The beautiful Weemics, the talented Weemics, the smart Weemics, the athletic Weemics, whenever they do great things, they give each other stars, star, star, star. And they feel so good about themselves when they get stars. The Weemics who aren't as good looking and aren't as athletic and aren't as talented and mess up a lot, they get gray dots every time they mess up, every time they fail. Dot, 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 dot. And it hurts them, and it makes them value themselves less. The main character of the story is a little wooden dude named Punchinello. And Punchinello is not talented, he's not good looking, he's not smart. He tries and he messes up again and again and again, and he gets dots, dots, dots. He gets dots even because he has lots of dots. And he begins to think less and less and less of himself. Now, this is just a children's book. It's fiction, but it also kind of depicts our reality as humans. We don't necessarily go around giving each other stars and dots, but we kind of do that in how we speak to one another, how we treat one another, how we care for one another or don't care for one another. And we all as humans, we make the same mistake that Punchinello made. We find our value and our worth in what other people think of us. We view ourselves as others view us. We've been talking about identity. Identity is really how we see ourselves. When you think of yourself, what do you think of? That's your identity. And sadly, most of us, we find our identity, we find our value and our worth through what other people think of us. We see ourselves how others see us. I was a really awkward kid in middle school. I was really skinny, and I had big, fat braces, and I had a serious case of acne all the time. And I thought that I would help myself and kind of be cooler and hipper. One day I came up with the idea of parting my hair straight down the middle. This is, of course, when I had hair. And I decided I had this grand plan that I was going to be cool with my braces and acne. If I just parted my hair, I would be cool. And also not cool, and I didn't know that parting my hair was really lame. And so I parted, and it was probably a good inch of skin you could see, and it was just freshly parted and combed down, and I thought I was going to be awesome. And that day will always stick in my memory because I walked into school and people that I didn't know made fun of me, but also my friends made fun of me. Suddenly I was the skinny kid with braces, acne, and a terrible hairdo. Needless to say, I never did my hair that way again. But that day was just dot, 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 dot. And I came home that day and just cried and wept. I thought less of myself. I made the mistake of finding my value and my worth in what other people thought. I saw myself as others saw me. Humans, we judge one another, and we give stars and dots based on outward things, how good we look, clothes we wear, athletic ability, things like that. The Bible tells us that God, He doesn't look at outward things. God, He looks at the heart. And we need to begin to find our identity, our sense of value and worth, not through what others think of us, but through what God thinks of us. We need to begin to see ourselves not as others see us, but as God sees us. One of my favorite verses is Ephesians 2:10. It says, "For we are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." I love that word workmanship. We are God's workmanship. It's a word that means we are His handiwork, or really we are His masterpiece. We're His piece of art. That's how God views us. My wife, she's a very, very gifted artist, and she takes all kind of simple things like clay and wood and metal, simple things that don't have much beauty or outward appearance, and she takes them and she crafts them into something beautiful. This is something my wife made. She spent months on it, and she just took really simple pieces of wood like you'd find in Home Depot, and she crafted this really, really beautiful box, and she spent just a ton of time on it. She totally invested and poured herself into this piece of art, and she loves this piece. It sits in our bedroom. It represents part of who she is. It reflects part of who she is. And that's how God thinks of us. That's how God thinks of me and how he thinks of you. We are his handiwork. We're his masterpiece. He loves us. We're so beautiful to him. We're each so unique to him. He would do anything for us, even give his life. We are his masterpiece. And if we begin to see ourselves as God sees us, his masterpiece, it totally changes our identity. We move from seeing ourselves how others see us and finding our value and worth in stars and dots. We move away from that, and we begin to see ourselves as God sees us. This book, You're Special, it concludes when Punchinello, our main character, with dots all over him, he runs into this other wooden character named Lucia. And Lucia has no stars and no dots, and it just blows his mind. He doesn't understand why that is. And Lucia explains to him it's because she spends time with Eli. She spends time with her maker, her creator, and Eli is always telling her, Lucia, how beautiful she is and how unique and how she is his masterpiece. And so Lucia, at the end of the book here, takes Punchinello up the hill, and he's scared and he's nervous, and introduces him to Eli, his creator. And Eli tells Punchinello, despite what all the other women said about him, that he is beautiful, that he is amazing, that he is unique, that he is Eli's masterpiece. And so as his creator's talking to him, and he begins to see himself not through what the Weemics say about him, but through the eyes of his creator, the dots for the first time in his life, they fall away. How do you see yourself? Where do you find your sense of value and worth? Where do you find your identity? Are you going to spend the rest of your life playing the silly game that we humans play, giving each other stars and dots and finding our value and our worth through what other people say? Or will you take the bold, the courageous step of listening to your maker, listening to your creator, and seeing yourself through his eyes, finding your value, your worth, your identity in what he says about you? Will you truly believe, as God believes, that you are his masterpiece?